Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're checking out Higan Eruthyll. Now, before I get into it, I have to thank the Higan team for sponsoring this video. If you do want to pre-register for the game, I'll have my link in the description. Go ahead and do it, because if we do hit 1 million pre-registrations when the game launches, we'll get a free copy of Media, who is a 3-star, and 3-star is the highest rarity of character in the game, so we definitely want to get that. Now, this is a game that I definitely had my eye on anyway, and what is this game? So this game's like a 3D real-time strategy type game where you're going to jump into combat with 4 units. Each of them are going to have a skill and an ultimate. You're going to have an energy gauge that builds up to use your skills, and once you generate enough ult energy, you can go ahead and use the big flashy ultimate abilities, and that is essentially how the combat is going to work. Now, in this video, we're going to go through a bunch of things. We're going to go through the characters and the designs, which are amazing inside the game. We're going to look at combat a bit deeper and take a look at exactly how it works. We'll jump in and we'll check out the character progression, so you're going to know what to do if you want to power your team up. Then we'll look at all the game modes, so you know where you're going to be farming all these materials that you need to actually power your characters up. And finally, we'll jump into the thing that everyone wants to know about, and that is going to be the summoning system inside the game. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's kick it off with taking a look at the characters available in the game, so you can get an idea for the aesthetic and the characters you're going to be pulling for. Now, take special note of not only the character designs, but also the weapons. There's been a lot of detail put into these weapons, and they're honestly just amazing and really unique on all of them. So let's take a look. We'll start off with the characters I have, and then we'll roll into the ones that I haven't obtained yet. But as you can see, like, the designs are they're very different. There's different types of characters for every type of person, and like I said, take note of the weapons. Really like my eye patch archer chick here. I'm a big fan of bows, so I'm always gonna like anything like that. This chick uses the fan. Like, you can see just the detail in the models, really fantastic. And let's just bounce through a few quicker, just so you can get a basic idea. But as you can see, there's a lot of uniqueness to these characters, and like I said, the weapons, gotta love a microphone weapon. Let's just quickly bounce through. This chick has a sniper rifle, and she uses drones. These little flying things are drones, which is really cool as well. We'll bounce through a bunch more. Now, this chick has guns that are also daggers, so she can change her style of play depending on how far away from the target she is, which is really cool as well. Let's just bounce through a few more. Now, another really cool thing that the game does is they do give you trial versions of characters. My trial with her has ended, but when they brought her into the game, they gave us a trial version so you could test her out and decide if you wanted to pull for her, which I think is absolutely fantastic. But let's just quickly browse through. We're not going to spend too much longer on any of these characters, but just so you can get a design, I really want this dude. Looks absolutely savage, and you can get a feel for the type of characters that we do have in the game to collect. Check out this weapon, by the way, looking savage. Keep going, that one as well. I really like her design, but my favorite is coming up, and this one is my favorite. I love anything that has some sort of pet with the character, so that is wicked. So now I want to take a look at combat so you guys can get your head around what exactly is going on in combat, because it is quite in depth and there's a lot of manual play that will go on. So first of all, when we're coming up against an enemy team, we've got to place our team. Now you can go to the formation button and you can place your characters where you want. Now generally you're going to want a unit, basically a melee unit that's going to be able to absorb some damage in the front. You're going to want your healers and ranged DPS in the back. Very basic stuff there. Now in this composition, I have 2 healers. I find against some of these fire teams, the damage comes too heavy and quick, that it's really nice to be able to bring the double healers to get me through it. Otherwise, I can bring 2 DPS and a healer. You can really mix it up depending on the situation. So what I'm going to do here is we also have this little one here, and if we click that, we start the battle with 20 extra ult energy. So whatever character's on there is going to get the ult energy at the start of battle. So I might just shift her back there, that back there, and now we can jump into it, and I'll show you what we have in combat. So if we hit confirm and then we go fight, we're going to start. Now let's just let the battle start. And as you can see, so what we have on screen at the moment is on the right hand side, and we'll look more at different skills and stuff when we look at character progression, but each character will bring 1 skill into battle, which costs energy. As you can see, this one's 3, this one's going to be 4 energy, so on and so forth. You generate energy over time, and then you can use whatever abilities you have the required energy for. It's kind of like a deck of cards the way it plays. Then we have over here to the left of that, we have the ultimate abilities of characters. Now, as you take damage, deal damage, use skills that cost energy, you're going to generate your ultimate energy. And once you get to full on your ult gauge, you're going to be able to use the ultimate ability. So let's just jump into a battle and check. Now, obviously we have ×2 speed or ×1 speed, and we do have auto as well. Now, what I'm going to do here quickly is, just because we're in a new one, we're going to put complete ultimate animations on so you guys can see them and get a feel for what's going on when we are using these ultimates. So let's put it on 1x speed as well, and let's resume. So as you can see here, we're going to jump into battle. I'm going to use my tank's ability. She's not just a tank, she's actually more like a warrior, and she can mitigate damage but also deal some nice damage. So we're going to use this one. I've got a passive on her, which means she's going to get a shield when she uses this. So there she goes, she gets her shield up. Now we're going to go ahead and do a heal. We don't really need it, but just to show you guys a heal. So this is the way it's going to target. You can drag it out and you can move around and you can select which target you actually want to heal. But for now, I'm just going to chuck that on her. Now over here we have this chick. What she can do is actually buff the next skills that we use. She buffs them for 10 seconds, so I can use that. That means when I go ahead and use this skill, it's going to deal some extra damage. And as you can see, now that we use that, our melee chick at the front, our tank / warrior, she's got her ult gauge full. So now we can go ahead and use her ultimate. And as you can see, we've got like a little targeting, and this is where manual play is going to come in big to make sure you hit the targets that you want to. So we're going to go ahead and do that. As you can see, really clean animations, looks quite solid, and we're going to deal that damage. Now we're going to heal her up because she's taking a fair bit of damage. We're going to double up on the heals. We're going to do a third heal as well, just to guarantee that up. Now she's got hers already, and what she's going to do is we're going to target you, and she's going to give her some extra ult energy and then some healing as well. And there's our ultimate animation. Now we're going to use her to buff up our skill damage, and we're going to use her ultimate now. As you can see, once again, we can angle this and we can shoot it. There we go. We're going to deal some damage to a group of enemies with that one. Okay, now we're getting low. We're going to use my AoE heal here. We're going to use her to get a shield up. Once again, she's got her ultimate ready again. So we're going to do that. Once again, these animations super clean, but you can speed them up so you don't have to watch them in full every time once you've played the game for a while. So let's go ahead and get his heal happening as well. He's also going to buff our damage. There we go. And now we're going to buff our damage, and then we're going to go into this one. And we'll attack you at the start there. Now we'll just rinse through a few abilities just to get the next ones up. Probably didn't need the double healer against this team. We're pretty safe in it, but let's just go ahead and do this. Then we can get our ultimate ability. And that's going to be the end of the battle. But like I said, you do have the option to put it onto auto. However, a lot of the time, you're really going to want to be playing on manual, especially if you're pushing harder stages. If it's a stage that you completely outpower, auto is going to be fine, but if you're really trying to push the limits, then you're going to want to be playing as much on manual as possible. The combat just feels really clean. It's hard to express until you play it, but when you're playing it, it actually feels really involved and really rewarding when you're actually doing the combat. So now that you understand combat, let's take a look at your character, their skills, and their upgrade path that they have. So first of all, what abilities do characters have? This is pretty much general across the board for all characters. You've got a basic attack. It's not going to do anything crazy. It's going to deal a certain amount of damage. Then we've also got a passive. So we'll go through this character specifically, but every character is going to be different. But this one, every time she casts her skill, she's going to grant herself a physical shield, which strength is equal to 230% of her AD, which is basically her physical attack damage for 5 seconds. That's like a physical stat. And then if we go into AP, that's going to be magical. So she's a physical unit, she's got AD, magical attackers will have AP, that's what it stands for. But really cool ability, meaning she's got some defensive, but also you want to prioritize offensive stats to maximize that shield as well. Some really good synergies going on with this character. Then we have their ultimate ability. Like I said, as you build up that ult gauge, you're going to be able to use this one. So she's going to interrupt enemies. Some enemies will cast abilities, and if you use interrupts during their cast, it will stop them from using those abilities. So it's just going to interrupt and deal some really nice damage. Then we have 2 active abilities. This one here only costs 3 energy, and it's basically just going to deal some damage and increase their fatigue progress. Now, the cool thing is when we look at the talent system in a sec, which is just over here, just so you can have a brief look at it. The talent here I have it's this one here. Lunar Rush, which is that ability, applies an extra 50% slow and a knockback to all enemies. So you can use talents to actually buff some of these skills. So this one also has that knockback tied into it, along with a speed slow. And then we have this other ability, which is going to deal damage, but also grant some mitigation. However, it does cost 4 energy. So every character is going to have 2 of these abilities, and you can literally just hit the toggle button, and it's going to swap between which ability that character will have active when they go into combat. It's really good. Like some characters, maybe if they're DPS characters, some have an AoE on one and a single target ability on another, meaning that, you know, AoE fights, you can bring the AoE ability. In single target fights, you bring the single target. There's a lot of customization in this game, which I really like. Now, past that, like I said, we do have this talent tree. As you limit break your characters, you will be able to unlock new talents, and they offer some really nice effects based on different abilities. Alt deals physical damage equal to 50% of AD every 2 seconds for 8 seconds. As you can see, you can get some really nice effects from the talent trees. Now, as we move past that, we have the general leveling system. So if I go to her, for instance, you can see we get leveling potions. You use some of the potions, you use some credits, you hit upgrade, and that is going to be how you upgrade the levels of your characters. Fairly basic in that one. Past that, we do have the star upgrades. Now, as you summon dupes of the character, there's also some that you can get through different stages that you can play and get extra pieces of characters. We've also got these items that you can get throughout the game, which also add to this, and they can substitute for any character's soul essence. So basically, these soul essences are going to be how you gain extra stats and star up your character. Now, moving past that, and probably one of the most important thing is going to be your weapon upgrades. This is how you increase the level cap of your character. This is how you unlock new talents, unlock new skills, and all that sort of stuff. So to do these, you're going to have some required resources, and you're going to have to remodel. As you can see, I've got 4 parts to this weapon that I need to remodel, and once I remodel all of them, I'll be able to refine it. And once I refine it, as you can see, it's going to increase my character level cap up to level 80. So this is going to be a key progression. Your basic progression on a character is going to be leveling them up to the max level they have available. Then we go in and remodel all the different parts of the weapon. And then once we've remodeled all the parts, we're going to refine it. And that's going to increase the level cap so that we can continue leveling. And that's the basic character progression in a nutshell. Now, as we move past that, we move into the play equips. Now, this is the gearing type system for the game. Now, you can get these plays, these different plays from either summoning, or you can get them from the labyrinth mode, or the labyrinth mode shop are the prime ways you're going to obtain them. Now, these are 3 sets, so you only got 3 slots, and each sort of set has a 2-piece bonus and a 3-piece bonus if you can equip all 3. And I'm not going to go too deep into this, but basically when you either summon these plays or get them from the labyrinth store or anything like that, they're going to have the sets, but to get the stats on them, these substats, you're going to have to adapt, and we can farm for these items, which is going to give you a specified first substat and then 4 random substats. Now, I'm not going to re-roll on this one because it's a pretty decent piece of gear, but let's jump over to another character and just do one just to show you for an example. So I think this one doesn't have any, so I can go adapt here and I can click. Actually, that's not the right piece. Can we do this one? Yeah, let's do adapt. Now, this gives me, this is for physical characters, so not ideal for my mage, but let's just do this one to show you. So we can hit adapt, and then those are the substats that we gain from it. So that's the basic system. You're gonna summon or get from the labyrinth store or the labyrinth runs, the plays, and then you're just gonna farm for the adapts, and that's how you basically progress them. Now, we have Exalt, where you can use duplicate copies to give them extra level caps and stuff like that, and we can also assign them to a specific character to give when that character uses them, bonus stats, and then we can also upgrade their levels. All pretty basic stuff, but that's the basic gist of the way the plays work. Okay, so now that we understand combat, we understand character progression, let's take a look at the general game modes in the game, which is where you're going to get most of those materials for your upgrades and so on and so forth. So the basic one, adventure. This is quite simplistic. You're going to go from stage to stage, defeating what you can. If you get stuck, you might have to go farm some materials to upgrade your characters to come back and keep progressing. Now, in this beta, there's 4 chapters, and you can do each chapter on, if we jump into here, on light sleep, deep sleep, or nightmare. These are the different difficulties, and they're going to drop different rewards and stuff like that. So we do have the 3 of them, and it's really nice to go in and do all these difficulties because you do get progression rewards based on the stars that you do get. So that is that one. Now, as we move on from that, now we get into the more upgrade type farming, and that is going to be out here in the Outland. Now, when we go to this section, which is the Realm of Abundance, these are heavily things that you're going to farm to get upgrades. So, Arc Task. If you need some credits, you're going to farm here. If you need some experience, you're going to farm here. If you need skill upgrades, here. And then we've got the Nilo Pact, which has a shop, so you're going to farm this to buy out some things from a shop. General progression items right there. Then, as we move on to that, we have the dreams. Now, this is for specific characters. As you can see, I've unlocked another stage for her, which I can farm. I can get those additional soul essence, which I use to star her up and get those extra stat bonuses. So that's where I'm going to do those. As we move on from that, we go to the show. Now, the show is where you're going to get these upgrades. These are those substats on your plays or your equipment that is going to give you those substats that you're looking for, and this is going to be where you farm them in this area here. As we move past that, let's jump over into the Elemental Rhapsody. Now, you're going to need all these all these different elemental gems to upgrade your weapon, to limit break your weapon, to unlock talents and all that sort of stuff. So this is where you're going to go to farm them, and whichever element your character is, that's the one you're going to want to farm. Then we have the Deep Maze. Now, this is something that you can do daily. There's 3 different difficulties of it. It's like a mini tower that's going to give you some premium currency. Definitely one you want to do every day. After that, we have the Holy Domain Jewel. Now, this one is where you're going to farm these essences, which can be fused, and these are the ones that you're going to be able to use for class-specific soul substitutes to help star up your characters. So that is the general one that we have. That's everything that we have in the general realm of abundance. Then we go into the realm of fighters, and this is more your challenging type content. We have Isolated Tower Challenge. This is a tower mode where you're going to go stage to stage. They've got leaderboards and stuff like that. They've even got beta leaderboards that you can check out. So that's like a really important one that you're going to want to push as far as possible because you do get a lot of premium currency from it as well. Then we have the Mesmerizing Labyrinth. Now, this labyrinth is really cool. It has a really nice system. I'll show you a little bit. I'm currently at stage 9 of this one that I was trying to complete. A little bit stuck, but I'll show you this one just so you can get an idea. Now, in the labyrinth mode, your health and ult energy continues on from the previous battle. So I'm going to try and do this one. We're going to take it off auto. We're going to try and manual this. It does get fairly hard. So let's see if we can actually do this. Let's do that there. Then we'll pop this one. Yep, okay, that's good. We're getting hit pretty hard here. As you can see, this starts to get hard. They're absolutely clapping me. But basically, you go through 10 stages. I'm just going to quit here because I'm going to lose it. Let's just abandon it so I can show you guys something else actually. And this is where you're going to get some more of those plays, like I said, plus some currency. So I'm just going to abandon that run so that I can show you a really cool feature about this. So let's just go back over there and take a look. So in this labyrinth, it's fantastic. You can see I've got 7 attempts that I can bring in there to actually try the labyrinth. Now, the cool thing about this is a lot of games will require you to do the labyrinth on the day it unlocks. However, this one, there's no cap to these. The thing is they only last for 7 days, but you get one from just the day turning over, and you also get another one from doing your dailies, and you can stack these. So the great thing about this is if you're busy during the week and you can't spend the time to do your labyrinth runs, that's fine. Say you got spare time on the Saturday, you can go through and punch through all your week's labyrinth runs on a Saturday or whenever you have time. It's a fantastic system. It's the best system for labyrinth entries I've ever seen, and I absolutely love it. So that is the labyrinth mode, and then finally we have the PvP. Now I'm not going to show you a match, but I'll show you the general gist of what PvP is. You can set a defense, you can set an attack. Now, as you get PvP points, what I really like is you can actually strengthen your team for the season and buy buffs with the points, or you can buy items from the shop. But I really like the fact that they've got this buffing type system. So if you want to prioritize getting better, you can do that early, and then once you get better, you can prioritize buying everything out from the shop. But when we go into it, you basically have 3 teams, and this is full auto battle, and you've really just got to strategize your teams that you bring in, and you want to win 2 of the 3 battles to win, get some points, gain some rank, and so on and so forth. I really like that this is 3-team PvP because it encourages building more characters and using more units, which is always a fantastic thing to do. So I really like that PvP. I've thoroughly enjoyed in this beta. So that pretty much covers all the game modes in the game. So we've gone through characters, character progression, combat, and the game modes. Now, the last thing that we're going to look at is going to be the summoning or the wishes. So for this game, you can summon for characters or you can summon for plays. Now, with character banners, as you can see, there is a lot of banners in the game currently. That's because they're testing a bunch of stuff in the beta. But, you know, we've got this one, which is a step-up banner, so you're going to be able to get some pieces the more summons you do. When we look at the rate info, when there's a specific hero that's themed to the banner, they will have a 50% chance of being summoned if you summon a character of that rarity. Now, if we go over here into the rates, they've got like a pity type system, which I really like. Once you've made 50 cumulative wishes without receiving a 3-star character or 5-star play. Keeping in mind, the 3-star character, when you're summoning for a character, you can only summon characters. When you're summoning for for the plays, you can only summon plays. So they're not combined on banners. So you can specifically choose what you want to summon for. Your chance of obtaining such an item raises to 4%. After that, the chance of your every single wish will be increased by 2% before capping out at 100. So it tells you which ones share and stuff like that. So there is a pity system, which is nice to have. So I've been greedy, as you can see, and I've been using all my summons as I get them. So I don't have a hell of a lot left, but let's just show you guys the summon animation with the single here, just so you can have an idea of what we got. So if you've got 10, you're normally able to draw between them, draw all your lines, and then see, you know, how many you get. Goes up to 10, and then it'll show you. And what happens here is we get this little orb. You want it to go purple, you want it to go blue first, then it would go purple ideally, which it didn't, and then after that you really want it to go to yellow, and that's when you're going to get your 3-star unit. Purple is going to be a 2-star unit, and if it stays at blue, that is only going to be a 1-star unit. So that's another 1-star. Let's go here, let's do another one. We'll burn through all our currency and see if we can get one. So let's just do that. Cool beans. Once again, we want it to go from blue to purple to yellow. But we're not getting the luck, but you get the gist. I've actually been incredibly lucky in this game and got about 4 3-stars so far. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with the way it's gone. But that is the wishes. So that pretty much rounds up everything you guys need to know about Higan Eruthyll. Once again, pre-register. You can use my link in the description. Pre-register for the game so that we can get all those pre-registration goodies. But once again, thanks to Higan for sponsoring this video. And thank you guys for watching. And we'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.